Welcome to the Health Headliner podcast by Tudu Digital. Our content is informational only and not medical advice. Please consult your provider. Now, let's dive into today's headlines.
Colon cancer. It's the fourth most diagnosed cancer in the U.S. And, even with all the advancements we've made in treatment, the 5-year survival rate is still only around 65%. That's pretty sobering. It's clear we need new approaches, and that's what makes this research on a protein called GATA6 so interesting.
Absolutely. And this study that was published in Science Advances suggests that if we can inhibit GATA6, it could be a really powerful weapon against colon cancer.
And we also have this article from a health news website that kind of helps break down some of the science for us. Let's dive in. What exactly is GATA6, and why is it causing such a stir?
Well, GATA6 is a protein. It acts like a conductor in our cells, orchestrating the activity of genes.
Oh, okay.
But in colon cancer, it seems like it's leading the wrong orchestra, turning up the volume on genes that fuel tumor growth and spread.
So it's like GATA6 is telling certain genes to go rogue and wreak havoc.
Yeah, exactly. And the researchers used, a variety of techniques to study GATA6's behavior. They analyzed tumor samples from actual patients, and they used sophisticated tools like CRISPR to manipulate the protein in cell lines.
CRISPR. Now, that's that gene editing technology we hear so much about these days.
That's the one. And the results were pretty striking. When they knocked out GATA6, the growth of the colon cancer cells slowed dramatically. Even more impressive were the findings from mouse models. Inhibiting GATA6 led to smaller tumors, and remarkably, it improved their survival rates.
Wow, that's incredible. So by silencing GATA6, they were essentially cutting off the fuel supply to these tumors.
Precisely. It's like they found a way to disrupt the command center of the cancer's growth.
This all sounds very promising, but I imagine there's still a lot of unknowns. What are some limitations we need to keep in mind?
You're right, it is early days. While the results in mice are encouraging, we need to be cautious about extrapolating those findings to humans. I mean, there's always the possibility that things might work a little bit differently in a more complex organism.
Right. And I'm guessing drug development is a long and complicated road, even with such promising leads.
Absolutely. Identifying drugs that can effectively target GATA6 is just the first step. We're talking years of testing and clinical trials to make sure that they're both safe and effective. But I gotta say, the momentum generated by this research is undeniable.
It is really inspiring to see scientists making these significant strides in the fight against cancer. I'm curious to hear more about the implications of these findings. What does this mean for the future of colon cancer treatment?
Well, the implications are huge. This research opens up a completely new avenue for therapeutic intervention. Imagine being able to develop drugs that can precisely target GATA6 and effectively halt or at least slow down tumor growth. It could revolutionize treatment approaches.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And it's not just about new drugs. Understanding the role of GATA6 could also lead to better diagnostic tools and maybe even more personalized treatment strategies.
That makes a lot of sense. The more we know about, the drivers of this disease, the better equipped we are to fight it on all those different fronts.
Exactly. And, one of the things that really struck me about this study is how they emphasize the global role of GATA6 in colon cancer. It's not just controlling, one or two genes. It seems to be a master regulator influencing a whole network of oncogenes.
Oncogenes being those genes that can turn a normal cell into a cancerous one.
Precisely. They found that GATA6 is involved in regulating genes that control cell proliferation and cell survival, and even the formation of new blood vessels, which is, crucial for tumors to grow and spread.
So it's like GATA6 is sitting at the top of a pyramid, pulling the strings on all these different processes that contribute to cancer development.
That's a great analogy. It really highlights how powerful this protein is and why inhibiting it holds so much promise.
It's fascinating how scientists are able to unravel these incredibly complex mechanisms at the cellular level.
It really is remarkable. I mean, this study, for example, employed a variety of techniques to kind of delve into GATA6's activity. They did genomic profiling, which is like taking a comprehensive snapshot of the DNA in those cancer cells.
So it's like creating a genetic map of the tumor.
Exactly. And they also used CRISPR to selectively remove GATA6, which allowed them to see the direct impact of its absence.
Wow, it's amazing how all these different techniques can work together to give us a deeper understanding of what's happening inside these cells. What did they find out about how GATA6 interacts with DNA?
Well, one of the key findings is that GATA6 binds to specific regions of DNA called enhancers. You can kind of think of these enhancers like volume knobs that control the activity of nearby genes.
Oh.
And in colon cancer cells, these enhancers are often cranked up to 11, driving the expression of those troublesome oncogenes.
So GATA6 is essentially telling these oncogenes to work overtime, fueling that tumor growth.
Precisely. But it's not just about boosting the activity of individual genes. GATA6 is also influencing the 3D structure of DNA itself.
Wait, DNA has a 3D structure. I always pictured it as that flat double helix ladder we all learned about in school.
Well, it is a double helix, but it's far from flat. It folds and loops in incredibly complex ways, and this 3D structure plays a crucial role in regulating gene activity.
So how does GATA6 fit into all this folding and looping?
Well, the study found that GATA6 can actually influence the formation of these loops, bringing distant regions of DNA closer together. And this proximity can have a big impact on gene expression. For example, a loop might bring an enhancer closer to an oncogene, which then boosts its activity and makes the cancer more aggressive.
So it's not just about turning up the volume on individual genes. It's about rearranging the whole orchestra to create a symphony of cancer growth.
That's a fantastic way to put it. And this brings us to another important aspect of this study, its potential implications for other types of cancer.
So this isn't just a colon cancer story. GATA6 might be playing a similar role in other cancers as well.
That's exactly what researchers are investigating now. They're looking into whether GATA6 might be a driver in cancers of the pancreas, stomach, and breast.
If GATA6 is this master regulator of genes involved in, cell growth and proliferation, it makes sense that it could be a factor in other cancers where those processes are also disrupted.
Exactly. And if that turns out to be the case, it could open up a whole new avenue for cancer research and treatment. Imagine developing a class of GATA6 inhibitors that could be effective against multiple types of cancer. That would be a game changer.
That's an incredibly exciting prospect. But even if GATA6 doesn't turn out to be a key player in all those other cancers, the findings of this study are still a monumental step forward in understanding and potentially treating colon cancer.
I wholeheartedly agree. This research highlights the power of scientific inquiry, the importance of collaboration, and the unwavering dedication of researchers who are working tirelessly to find cures and improve the lives of people battling these devastating diseases.
Beautifully said. So where do we go from here? What are the next steps in this research?
Well, the most immediate goal is to translate these findings into tangible therapies. That means identifying and developing drugs that can effectively target GATA6.
But drug development is a notoriously long and complex process, right? What are some of the challenges involved?
It certainly is. It takes years of research, testing, and clinical trials to bring a new drug to market. One of the biggest challenges is finding a drug that specifically targets GATA6 without causing, unwanted side effects. There's also the issue of accessibility and affordability. We need to make sure that any potential treatments are available to everyone who needs them, not just a privileged few.
Those are all critical considerations. It's a reminder that scientific progress isn't just about lab breakthroughs. It's also about navigating the complexities of translating those breakthroughs into real-world solutions that benefit everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This study doesn't just, explore the nuts and bolts of GATA6's role in colon cancer. It also delves into the potential implications for other types of cancer.
So this isn't just a colon cancer story. GATA6 might be a villain in other cancers as well.
That's precisely what the researchers are exploring now. They're investigating whether GATA6 plays a similar role in cancers of the pancreas, stomach, and breast.
It makes sense. If GATA6 is this, master regulator of genes involved in cell growth and proliferation, it stands to reason that it might be a factor in other cancers where those processes are also dysregulated.
Exactly. And if that turns out to be the case, it could open up a whole new avenue for cancer research and treatment. Imagine if we could develop a class of GATA6 inhibitors that could be effective against multiple types of cancer. That would be a game changer.
That's a pretty tantalizing prospect. But even if GATA6 doesn't turn out to be a key player in all those other cancers, the findings of this study are still a monumental step forward in understanding and potentially treating colon cancer.
I wholeheartedly agree. This research is a testament to the power of scientific inquiry, the importance of collaboration, and the unwavering dedication of researchers around the world who are working tirelessly to find cures and improve the lives of people battling these devastating diseases.
Beautifully said. This deep dive into GATA6 research has been incredibly illuminating. We've seen the tremendous potential of this discovery, but we've also recognized the need for careful consideration of the complexities involved in translating this knowledge into real-world solutions.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? From understanding the intricacies of GATA6's role in colon cancer to exploring the potential of inhibitors and grappling with the challenges of drug development.
It really has. And for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has been both informative and inspiring. This research is still in its early stages, but it offers a beacon of hope for the future of colon cancer treatment. Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep those questions coming as science continues to push the boundaries of what's possible. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring the potential of GATA6 as a target for colon cancer treatment. And it's clear this research is generating a lot of excitement, and for good reason. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your take on what makes this study particularly groundbreaking.
Well, one of the most remarkable aspects, I think, is the depth and breadth of the research. They didn't just scratch the surface, they really dug deep using a multifaceted approach to understand GATA6's role in colon cancer. They analyzed human tumor samples, they employed CRISPR technology to manipulate GATA6 expression, and they used mouse models to observe the effects of GATA6 inhibition, in a living organism.
Yeah, it's like they threw the whole scientific toolbox at it.
Yeah.
And the results really speak for themselves. The fact that they were able to significantly reduce tumor growth and improve survival rates in mice by inhibiting GATA6, that's truly remarkable.
Absolutely. And what's particularly exciting is that this isn't just about finding, a new drug. It's about understanding the fundamental mechanisms that are driving this disease. And by pinpointing GATA6 as a master regulator of oncogenes, they've opened up a whole new avenue for both treatment and prevention.
That's a key point. It's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about addressing the root cause. And as you mentioned earlier, the implications of this research extend beyond colon cancer. They're now exploring whether GATA6 plays a similar role in other types of cancer, which could have, far-reaching consequences.
Imagine if we could develop a class of drugs that effectively target GATA6 across multiple cancer types. That would be a paradigm shift in cancer treatment.
It's certainly a tantalizing prospect. But even with all this promise, we need to acknowledge that there's still much work to be done. Translating these findings into safe and effective therapies for humans will take time and careful consideration.
Of course. Drug development is a long and complex process, and there are always challenges involved in translating promising research into real-world treatments. But the momentum generated by this study is undeniable, and it has the potential to ignite a new era of innovation in cancer research.
It's truly inspiring to see scientists pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And it gives us all reason to be hopeful about the future of cancer treatment. This research is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and collaboration in the face of, these challenging diseases.
I couldn't agree more. It's through these collaborative efforts that we make significant strides towards finding cures and improving the lives of those affected by cancer.
Well said. And for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has been both informative and empowering. Knowledge is key when it comes to navigating complex medical issues. And staying informed about cutting-edge research like this allows you to be an active participant in your own health journey and advocate for the best possible care. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep hope alive. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration of GATA6 and its potential to transform the landscape of colon cancer treatment. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a cutting-edge topic that's shaping the future of health and science. Until then, stay curious.
Thanks for tuning in to the Health Headliner podcast by To Digital. Like and subscribe for more health news and breakthroughs. Stay healthy and informed. See you next time.